I remember when I was in high school, I had this biology teacher who told us that fruits are ovaries. And that's super interesting, but he said it like, I swear to God, he said it like 12 times. He really wanted to make it clear. There is something kind of erotic about fruit. I think everyone kind of feels that on a certain level. And it is Valentine's Day. There's this Frida Kahlo quote that I just love so much, where she says, "A veces entiendo, a veces no." And if you speak Spanish, you'll feel that deeply because it's so beautiful, and it's very, very hard to translate that because it's kind of a play on words. But essentially, what it directly translates to is, through kisses, I understand, but through sometimes I don't. And I know that doesn't really make sense, but in Spanish, it's like, it's a play on a veces entiendo, a veces no, because a veces means sometimes. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But she's saying, through kisses I get it, through sometimes I don't. And it doesn't ring as much in English, but what she's saying is that love is the clearest and most resonant language for her. And that uncertainty and anything that is sort of wishy-washy in its nature, in its ability to commit, is unintelligible. But kisses, the language of kisses, the language of love, makes perfect sense, always. I could not agree more with that quote, and I understand what she means perfectly. Which is interesting, because that's kind of the very premise of what the quote is referring to. This idea of comprehension through love. Because we don't understand through what is uncertain, or through what is hazy or ill-defined. We understand through what is tangible, what is raw, what you can feel and taste and touch and smell. That's how we understand. Not through confusing language, but through love. And love, it extends so much, so far beyond what we think of as romantic love, what our society has defined love as. Because again, this is the paradox of definition, is that you need to define it in order to talk about it. But once you've defined it, you're no longer talking about the real thing. It's like, if I say the word grapefruit, it's like, okay, I can picture that, I know what you're referring to. But if I do this, it couldn't be more clear. And if you were here with me, you'd be able to smell this too. It smells insane. That's what love is, truly. Beyond the words, beyond whatever your definition of it is. Love is the raw experience of the eros that makes up this universe. The passion. Uncontainable. Explosive. Abundant. Sweet. Succulent. Rich. Overflowing. Delicious feeling. This is the meaning of life. And it's crazy that that's a controversial statement. We think the meaning of life has to be something so complicated when it couldn't be more obvious. It's right in front of us. The meaning of life is to live, to soak it in. The abundant, overflowing richness of existence, of life. The passion, the eros, the excitement, the love, it's all here. And I think we get confused because we live such a disconnected life, or our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is disconnected from direct experience. I feel like modern life is very much a game of watching through windows, because we have our phones, we have our screens, we're inside our heads, we're inside our homes, and we're peering through these little portals that present indications of something more, of a life that is more fulfilling, more meaningful. And yet we feel disconnected from that reality. Because, well, in many ways we are. And so the solution to this is not to find a better channel on your TV or subscribe to a more aligned YouTube channel or to watch better content. The solution is to step outside, to step into the light of life, where you belong, out in the world, out in nature, amongst your fellow earthlings. That's why I say that. That's why I refer to you guys as earthlings, because that's what you are. And I think we forget that. We forget that, like, we're animals. We live and exist and evolved on this planet. You have $1,500 meditation courses. And what do you learn from that? You learn something that is obvious when you go outside. And it's not even really something you learn. It's not like some lesson. Because when you're outside, you can't help it. And what the secret is, it's not a secret. But it's to enjoy the moment. But we don't, because our lifestyle makes the moment shitty or unfulfilling or lackluster. But the world is full of luster. I don't know if that's a word, but in my mind, it's meaning, like brilliance, and I think it is a word. The glamour of life, the glamorousness, the beauty. When you're out in the wild, under a full moon, and you see the moonlight reflecting on tide pools, and you reach in and your hand disturbs the water, and you see as the light begins to warp and refract on the surface of the water because of the energy that you've introduced into that system, and you feel the wetness on your hands, and you see that interaction take place, and you feel it and you experience it. You're meditating. There's no need to meditate. That's what meditation is. Meditation isn't a thing that you do. It's just this. But we don't do this. We don't live. Well, maybe you do. You probably do. If you're watching this, because this is such a vibey thing. Eating a grapefruit on Valentine's Day, talking about love and life, that's amazing. You're dope if you're watching this. If you're like still watching this, you're cool. It's so simple. Hold on. I just wanted to moisten my locks and rinse my face. Nature is very subtle, but sometimes it's not subtle. Sometimes nature is very blatant in its symbolic imagery. It's just as equally symbolic and non-symbolic, though. That's the beautiful thing about this expression that we live in. That's what, by the way, that's what the universe is. It is absolutely an expression, in the same way that this video is an expression of an ineffable truth that is so undeniable, but so unfathomable and impossible to fully articulate, because it's so vast. That's what the universe is. It's like a ever unfolding expression of an infinite reality that is constantly exploding out of itself. It's just completely rich. Have y'all ever seen someone eat a grapefruit like this? Because I didn't even know you could do this till like a few years ago. I always did the really tedious thing of like scooping all the stuff out, but this is so much more intimate. You really get to know the fruit. And I think that's honestly important. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent here, but obviously eating whole foods is good, but having a intimate experience while eating those whole foods is even better. Really being grateful for the fruit, for the food, experiencing it. Praising it, worshiping it even. But yeah, I'm about to finish it. So, as I do, and before I send you on your way to enjoy this beautiful day, go be with your love if you, or your beloved, if that's what life is for you at the moment. If not, go meet someone, or just be loving yourself. Equally as meaningful and as true an expression of love. But more than anything, love life, love the universe, because it's irresistible. And if you don't see that, if you're like, oh please, life is so boring, life sucks, you aren't living. Start living. Oh. Eros, full of passion, full of richness, full of eudaimonia. And enjoy it. Because it's good. It's good, and it's reciprocal. It's waiting for you to love it, and it will love you back. And it already is loving you, whether or not you can see it. It's calling out to you. The universe is like, please, come on, have a relationship with me. So, take the hand, answer the call, step outside into the light, and live. I love you. Happy Valentine's Day.